Tony, and happy Sunday. We made it through the weekend. We made it through the rain chances, and I have some good news. If you're hoping for some cooler weather, it is on the horizon. Now, throughout the next few hours, if you're going to Morthos Fest or even just out and about in San Antonio.
Tonight on the Nightbeat, the National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado touchdown in Comal County Friday night. What we know.
This is the aftermath of a car crashing into a man's bedroom while he was inside of it. This isn't the first time something like this has happened in this area either. We'll tell you all about it coming up tonight on the Nightbeat.
Plus, the United States Department of Agriculture saying they're out of funds for food stamps. We have the latest on the government shutdown.
Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Good evening, I'm John Paul Barajas, and we start with new information on the storms from Friday into Saturday. Tonight, the National Weather Service concluded a storm survey for the severe weather and can confirm an EF1 tornado was part of that on Friday night. The report says it touched down just after 11:30 near Candalia and headed east 20 miles, impacting neighborhoods just north of Canyon Lake. They had winds got up to 110 miles per hour. Shelby, these type of events definitely uncommon for our area, and you were tracking its path. You said it just missed Canyon Lake High School.
Yeah, it did. Now, a lot of people were waking up, JP, especially in San Antonio, with the thunder, the lightning. Now, at about 11:30 Friday night, there was a tornado warning issued for portions of Kendall and Comal County, and that was due to some rotation indicated from radar. Now, it started in between just to the southwest of Candalia, and it went over 281 even. It went just to the north of Spring Branch and just missed Canyon Lake High School. It went in between that and the actual lake. Now, with this tornado, it did produce about 110 miles per hour, so it was classified as an EF1 tornado. The National Weather Service did go out earlier today to survey some of this damage. It was about 20 miles wide, or 20 miles long, and the width of this tornado was about 300 yards. There were downed power lines, there were downed trees, and even some areas had the shingles off of their roofs damaged. Now, the good news for us, JP, all the rain we saw with this system is already out and about, and we are tracking some cooler temperatures, and I'll give you a look at your future cast on the cooler temperatures coming up in just a bit.
Shelby, looking forward to it. A family's trying to figure out where they can sleep after a car plowed into their home or their bedroom this morning. The incident happened at the intersection of Southwest Loop 410 and Dartmoor. Those left picking up the pieces tell the night team Zaria Oates this isn't the first time that this has happened, and they don't expect it to be the last.
I honestly thought a bomb went off.
But it was not a bomb. Instead, it was a car plowing through Juan and Valerie Rodriguez's bedroom wall.
This is the fourth time that there's been a car wreck in my property, but this is the first time it's gone into the house.
We've had them kind of go over the curb, look like they're going to come into the yard, but nobody's ever gone into the house before.
And it's an issue that they're having to pick up the pieces on themselves, literally rebuilding the wall to the exterior of their bedroom.
I'm already struggling paycheck to paycheck. This is not something I was looking forward to.
Not only the rebuild, but Juan was in the bedroom when the car crashed into the home and ended up at the hospital just hours later.
The part of the wall fell on my ankle.
Juan and Valerie aren't even the only ones dealing with the consequences of drivers ignoring the 45-mile-per-hour signs.
60, 70 miles an hour sometimes.
Scott Kenyon, just 2 blocks up the road, is also frustrated.
We heard the crash, bam, look, whoa, come off that exit flying. And they ran through our fence like 5 times, 6 times. In fact, we got another repair we have to get done right now.
He even walked me to the side of his home to show the efforts he's put in to keep drivers out.
Knocked out that whole shed one time. That's a brand new shed. Put a concrete platform there. We're going to add some more pile of concrete things all the way down eventually.
Installing concrete into the ground, making sure there's cement, stone, or brick fencing around the homes, and even guardrails between the homes and the street have all been temporary fixes. Both families want anyone who can do more to keep these homes safe to do it.
More barriers along the whole axis and barriers that are actually going to stop vehicles.
It's dangerous.
I'm Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
We have requested details about the driver from SAPD, but have not yet heard back. The homeowner told us the driver told him he fell asleep after working a night shift. We'll bring you updates on the situation as we learn more. Also new tonight on the Nightbeat, a man is in the hospital with severe injuries after being hit by a car. The incident happened around 8:20 this evening. According to San Antonio police, the man was jaywalking by a fire station near North Zarzamora and Calabria Road when witnesses say he was hit by a red sedan that drove off after it hit him. Firefighters at the station treated the man before he was taken to the hospital. San Antonio police are looking into the death of an H-E-B employee. SAPD says a 27-year-old woman died after an incident in an H-E-B warehouse. Many questions still remain as police provide more details. We'll get that to you. However, an H-E-B spokesman told us that the woman was operating her forklift when she came to a stop, adding another partner noticed she was showing signs of distress and called EMS. H-E-B also sent us a statement that reads in part, "One of our warehouse partners was transported to the hospital after showing signs of distress. She later passed away at the hospital. Our H-E-B family is heartbroken and we are providing support to and are in contact with the family during this difficult time." End quote. A serious crash on U.S. Highway 277 East in Maverick County left multiple people in critical condition on Friday. According to the Maverick County Constable's Office, a family returning to Eagle Pass was involved. They had a woman, 2 adult passengers, and an 11-year-old were ejected from their vehicle. They were then airlifted to San Antonio. A 5th person was taken to a nearby emergency room. Details on what led to the crash are limited at this time. The Texas Department of Public Safety is investigating. As the government shutdown continues, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has now posted a notice on its website saying federal food aid will not go out on November 1st. As a result, roughly 42 million Americans will not receive critical food assistance from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. The notice comes after the Trump administration said it would not tap into at least $5 billion of contingency funds. According to a memo obtained by CNN, the funds, quote, are not legally available to cover regular benefits, end quote. It also says that states will not be reimbursed if they use their own funds to pay for benefits. According to a statement posted on the USDA's website, it says Senate Democrats have now voted 12 times to not fund the food stamp program, going on to say, quote, bottom line, the well has run dry. At this time, there will be no benefits issued November 1st, end quote. In a response to this, the San Antonio Food Bank is preparing to do everything they can to help the community. They anticipate they'll need 50% more food compared to a normal week, which is equal to needing an extra 13 tractor trailer loads of food. In a statement released by their president and CEO, he says in part, quote, San Antonio knows how to step up in times of disaster. The government is shut down, but we are open for business. We will do whatever is required of us, even emptying the warehouse if that is what is needed, end quote. Kerrville city officials plan to remove crosswalk art. This after Governor Abbott's message earlier this month stating that markings, signs, and signals that are not supporting traffic or safety should be removed. Kerrville officials say their painted crosswalks are murals of the Guadalupe River. However, the assistant city manager says a plan to remove them is now in the works, saying in part, quote, we understand the directive and don't want to jeopardize any partnerships with the state on account of a few crosswalks. While it's unfortunate, we will have a letter to text.on or before mid-November about a plan to have any crosswalk art removed, end quote. Governor Abbott also called to remove political and social messages from roadways and streets, threatening that cities who do not comply could have funding withheld. San Antonio city leaders are still evaluating our situation here. Early voting is underway. We've talked about our local ballot, but still ahead, we'll break down some of the larger state items you're voting on. And the NBA season is back and the Spurs hype is real. We head out to the Frost Bank Center for the Silver and Black's home opener. Early voting is underway here in Bexar County, and there is a lot of focus on the funding propositions for the Frost Bank Center and a new downtown arena. But the entire state will be voting on amendments to the Texas Constitution. One of the most significant ones affects bail and the denial of it in certain cases. It's Proposition 3 on the ballot. If passed, judges would be required to deny bail for people accused of certain felonies. The state would have to show that bail would not be enough to make sure the accused isn't a flight risk or danger to the public. Defendants would have the right to an attorney in bail hearings. Another issue the Texas legislature has been trying to address is property tax relief. Proposition 13 would increase the resident's homestead exemption from ad valorem taxation by $40,000. What that means is that up to $140,000 in value cannot be taxed to pay for public schools. And over 66,000 people in Bexar County have already taken part in early voting, and you still have time to do the same. KSAT is your election headquarters. Here are some important dates on your screen. Early voting ends at the end of the month, October 31st, Halloween. Then Election Day is on November 4th. We have more information on the amendment propositions along with our other election coverage, sample ballots, and polling locations on ksat.com/vote. And taking a look at live cam, still a warm day today, but cooler temperatures on the horizon. So if you want to go out to the polls,
Yes.
maybe take a light jacket by midweek.
If by midweek you could take a light jacket, and if you're going out right when the polls open, you might want a hot coffee. Some people still are in that iced coffee because it's been so warm. And even tomorrow, JP, is going to be another warm day, but the cool temperatures are coming.
Well, it's October 26th,
Yes.
and Wednesday is when it really picks up. That's what we're hoping for.
Yes.
So, basically November is where we finally start getting this cooler temperature. So, yeah, people are ready for the change.
Yeah, and you don't have to wait much longer. Even starting tomorrow, yes, we're still going to be waking up with some temperatures similar to what we've been seeing, about 66 degrees, seeing some light fog being possible. So as you're either headed to school or you're headed to work or wherever you're headed tomorrow morning, make sure you take a little extra time and maybe put your low beams on, because the fog isn't going to be dense for everyone, but we are watching that possibility of fog to be a slight impact for some. 66 degrees in the morning, waking up even a few degrees warmer, feeling a little muggy, and by lunchtime, you know the drill, we're already near 80 degrees. It's the same drill we've been seeing over the last month or so. Over the next few hours, even by your afternoon temperature, getting to about 88 degrees for most of us here in South Central Texas, 88 in San Antonio, but most of us are really going to be on the border of sitting in the 80s to even in the 90s. 90 degrees in Floresville tomorrow in Uvalde, 92 down in Pleasanton. But here's the thing. We've been teasing that idea of a cool front coming. And tomorrow and Tuesday, we will still be waking up with our temperatures in the 60s, but then that cool front comes through and our morning temperatures are going to significantly decrease. We're talking you're going to be waking up this week in the 50s, and even Friday is expected to be in the 40s, especially for Halloween. It's going to be a little chilly. Now, here's what we're watching with that cool front, and here's kind of a future cast. That cold front is expected to make landfall tonight into tomorrow morning on the Pacific Northwest. And as it moves through, all those blue and those purple colors, some of that is right about freezing levels, which is about the 30s. Some folks might even see the temperatures in the 40s. We're not expecting temperatures to be at freezing, don't worry. But all of that cool Canadian air is going to feed in behind this cold front already for some portions of the country by Monday. But for us, that cold front really arrives about Tuesday afternoon, and we're going to start to feel it Wednesday morning, and all of that cool Canadian air is going to feed in behind it, also having that chance and that possibility of some gustier winds as we go throughout the next few days. But that means because that cold front's going to come through by about Tuesday or Wednesday, your trick-or-treat preview for Halloween, it's supposed to be really nice. Yeah, there is still going to be that low humidity, and once that sun sets, we're really going to see the temperatures drop from the 70s to the 60s, especially because sunset is going to be about 6:48. But sunset isn't going to stay after 6 p.m. forever, because in just a week or so, we have daylight savings ending, meaning the sunset that is going to be about 6:48, 6:47 this weekend is really going to be bumping back to about 5:46 next week. So keep that in mind, but otherwise we're expecting a little bit of a bone-chilling Halloween for some folks throughout the next few, for most of us across South Central Texas. Over the next 3 days, temperatures getting to about 64 and 51 as you're waking up and getting ready. Some breezier winds are possible for most of us on Wednesday, still seeing temperatures at about 71 degrees, but also throughout the next few days, we're seeing the temperatures in the afternoon only staying in the 70s. The 70s.
We've experienced so many hot Halloweens here in South Texas.
Yeah.
As you said the other day or earlier today, that forecast, spooktacular.
Spooktacular.
Finally.
Yes.
Thanks for that, Shelby. It was a long offseason for the Spurs and the Spurs faithful, but with all that time came high hopes and hype for this season. In less than a weekend to play, the Silver and Black are showing out, and their fans got to do that today for their home opener. I was there, and they were loud and proud.
Castle is on the verge of becoming an all-star, so.
Go Spurs, go! Go Spurs, go! What? Go Spurs, go!
How do you feel about that beatdown we gave Dallas opening night?
Oh, it's pretty good. I mean, we did it against Cooper Flag, so.
It's a big start. It's a very good start. I hope they will win also this week.
Well, they had a great first game, so I can't be more proud of the Spurs, especially this season. We're actually very excited because our son's on the Spurs hype team.
So did he learn his moves from his mom?
Of course.
I'm going to put you, can you do something?
No.
I'll put you to the test. He got his moves from somewhere. Expectations for today?
Big dub today, 3-0. Yeah, that's what.
Nets stand no chance.
Not a chance, not even close.
I hope they will win another game, another title, another NBA championship.
Spurs look like they're ready to come back. We're all the way from, me and my dad are all the way from Hawaii, so this is our first time going to San Antonio and actually watching a home game.
We are from France, from Paris.
You came just to watch Victor Wembanyama.
That's one of the main reasons, yes. Also to visit a little bit, but of course to see some NBA games. Yes.
Wemby, I love Wemby.
Wemby's to go.
Wembanyama, I think, is the MVP of the season, so.
Already, you're calling it Wemby MVP?
I'm calling it right now, MVP.
Anything you say back to the fam in Hawaii?
Shout out to my mom, shout out to my brother Chase. Go Spurs, go. Definitely love San Antonio here, so everybody in Hawaii, come check it out.
Go! That's what we're here for! Go Spurs, go! What? Go Spurs, go!
A day of first at the Frost Bank Center today. We had a guy's first ever Spurs game. He said it was a lifelong fan. We had the family from France coming to San Antonio, the Alamo City, and then the father-son duo from Hawaii coming to check out the Spurs here at the Frost Bank Center as well. Also, first regular season at home this season. And it feels like the first time in a long time. The Spurs are now 3-0 to start the season.
Yeah, the Spurs are must-watch TV right now. Last year, it was Wemby who was must-watch TV. Right now, it's the Spurs as a whole. They're playing great. 3-0 to start the season. Like you said, JP, they're victorious in their home opener. We'll show you the highlights and post-game reaction coming up. Also, the Cowboys, they struggle mightily in Denver. How it all went down after the break.
We're for real. You know, we're not. You know, every game we're going in to win, and regardless of who's the opposing team, we look at our scouts. We come up with a game plan. That's what we're gonna do.
The Spurs relishing in a clean 3-0 start to this season in big board sports. All right, the Spurs hosting the Nets for their home opener this afternoon. San Antonio opened the season on the road, defeating the Mavericks and the Pelicans. And check this out. The Spurs hung up a banner in honor of Coach Greg Popovich and his NBA record 1,390 career wins. All right, picking up the action in the second quarter, Spurs lead 66-48. Noah Clowney tries a layup, but Victor Wembanyama pins it. Terrence Mann tries to put it back up, and he's denied. Spurs finally collect the rebound, so Wemby brings it up with time for a 2-for-1 and walks into a logo 3. What can't Wemby do? Spurs go into the half up 69-48 to the fourth now after a comeback from the Nets. Spurs only up 3, shot clock running out. Dylan Harper kicks it out. Wemby hits the catch and shoot 3 ball. Coming up clutch. A couple minutes later, Spurs ahead by 3. Cam Thomas gets the ISO corner pocket and hits an insane triple. Thomas dropped 40 points, no assists though, as the Nets tie it. After a series of free throws, Spurs up 8. Harper finds Keldon Johnson, who lobs it to Wemby, and that's the dagger. It was electricity inside Frost Bank Center. The Spurs win 118-107. 6 Spurs finished in double figures scoring. Wemby led the way with 31 points, 14 boards, 6 blocks, 3 steals. KJ had 19 points off the bench and 7 boards, while the rookie Dylan Harper finished with the stat line 26 and 8.
Going into this game, big emphasis for me was just the defensive side and just want to help my team out however I can, whether that's playing defense, score the ball. But today I think I kind of took that stand to be one of our main defensive guys and just trying to speed the game up and make the game faster.
Dallas Cowboys turned in another up-and-down performance in a 44-24 loss to the Denver Broncos. It's just another installment in what has been an inconsistent season for the Cowboys. This time it was the league's best offense that was shackled. Prescott was replaced by backup Joe Milton, who threw the only touchdown pass for Dallas. The defense also continues to struggle. The Cowboys have allowed 250 points through 8 games, which is the third most in team history, according to ESPN research. Here's another look at the final, and let's take a listen to what head coach Brian Schottenheimer had to say after the game.
I don't think any of us coached or played well enough. We knew we'd have to come in and own the line of scrimmage. I think it started up front. You got to give Denver a lot of credit. I think they moved us around pretty good, had some big explosive runs, and that's hard.
All right, it's time now to introduce you to our Scholar Athlete of the Week, presented by Christus Children's.
Hi, my name is Sophia Fisher. I'm from Steele High School, and I am this week's KSAT 12 Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Sophia is a 3-year member of the varsity volleyball team. She was named second-team All-District last season and Academic All-District 2 years in a row. She also plays club volleyball. Sophia is a member of the National Honor Society, the Student Council, and is an athletic trainer. She maintains a 4.14 GPA, is ranked in the top 5% of her class, and is an AP Scholar with distinction. Sophia will attend Wayne State College to play Division II volleyball, major in pre-athletic training, and minor in chemistry. Thanks, Sophia, for being KSAT 12 Scholar Athlete of the Week, presented by Christus Children's.
Great job, Sophia. Coming up later in the show, we're recapping the Texans' 26-15 win over the 49ers. Highlights, post-game reaction. We'll also have our Play of the Week and JP. We're breaking down the latest AP college football poll. Lots of Texas teams ranked in the top 25 this week.
Go Cougs.
Including...
Go Cougs, the top 25. And just to backtrack a little bit, it's not often that you catch me off guard. I watch sports. I love sports. Gave up 250 points in 8 games, the Cowboys defense.
It's not good right now in Dallas defensively.
Breathtaking.
At all.
Not in a good way.
No.
Thanks for that, Mary. All right, this 1-mile walk serves to support both families and survivors of congenital heart defects. Still ahead, we take you to that event. Military sexual assault numbers are increasing in 3 of the 4 branches. Coming up, why a San Antonio nonprofit created an entire symposium on the topic. It's a tough topic, military sexual assault, but local survivors are finally finding their voices, and they want you to know about it. Numbers are increasing in 3 of the 4 branches, which is why a San Antonio nonprofit created an entire symposium on that issue. 2 brave survivors opened up to our Courtney Friedman about what needs to change.
So this is the first time you're sharing your story?
Yes.
Out loud?
Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you for doing that with us. What makes you want to do that?
As I feel like every soul, every human has a purpose in life, and this is my purpose.
Justine Castoreno served 3 years in the Navy from 2015 to 2018, honorably discharged early because of the abuse she endured.
You had experiences that fall under the umbrella of military sexual trauma.
Yes, I'm a female, so.
So what does that mean then?
On a ship, there's nothing but men. A lot of men.
Do you feel like you're a target for sexual assault because you're a woman on a ship?
Yes, and on deployment.
Because that came out of your mouth really quickly, like it was an obvious thing.
Yes.
And so is this, you think, how a lot of women feel?
Yes, I do. I just don't think they speak about it.
So what needs to change then?
Awareness, and talk about it, spread, share it.
She also experienced violence from her superiors, who she said called it hazing.
She held me down, he got his belt, and he just started hitting me. Ever since that day, it just continued. And it wasn't just with him, it was through the whole department.
In 2021, the military did an overhaul of how it handles sexual assault, enacting programs and trainings. But the latest report shows from 2023 to 2024, 3 out of the 4 branches still had increases in sexual assault numbers. The Army decreased 13%, but the Navy had almost a 4.5% jump, the Air Force a 2% increase, and the Marine Corps about 1% increase.
After going on my own healing journey, what was I missing and what did I need during that time, and maybe what some other survivors are needing as well.
Air Force veteran Larissa Martinez is a military sexual assault survivor who created the Circle of Arms nonprofit in 2019, dedicated to mental health and advocacy for veterans and active military. She says sexual assault in the military is a different kind of mental wound.
We've trained with our fellow brothers and sisters in arms to be at war or to, serve side by side.
What's it like to be in the military and not trust your brothers and sisters around you?
Oh, it's definitely not good. That's why a lot of majority of people end up separating earlier. And, my whole goal was to retire in the military, but because of what happened to me, it changed, my whole outlook on the military. Not that I don't have a pride in my military now, but I also know that things need to change.
That's why Martinez put on the group's first ever military sexual trauma symposium a few weeks ago.
A whole bunch of researchers, clinicians, veterans, military leaders, family members just come together and in one space.
She already watched multiple survivors gain a voice and hopes she continues to see that.
Reach out for help. Talk about it. Don't hide it. Don't keep it in. Because you matter.
Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
In its latest report, the Department of Defense wrote, when incidents of sexual assault occur, they undermine that ethos and erode unity within our military. By continuing to invest in sexual assault prevention and response efforts, the department will restore that ethos, ensuring that incidents of sexual assault occur, that if incidents of sexual assault occur, warfighters receive the necessary care to expedite recovery and reinforce resiliency, and that alleged offenders are held appropriately accountable. Cops Metro is celebrating 50 years of community organizing. Today, the group announced a decade-long strategy called Public Money for Public Good. The goal, investing money for neighborhood infrastructure and flood control. Over 2,000 people attended the event, and sister groups to Cops Metro also showed up in support of its mission.
We celebrate not only our local work, but also that of the Industrial Areas Foundation and sister organizations of the United States and other countries.
Cops Metro leaders have held press conferences opposing to Prop B, which is the financing of a $2 billion Spurs Stadium downtown. For a full breakdown of that back and forth, we have all our coverage on KSAT.com. The First Baptist Church of San Antonio celebrated 100 years today. That sanctuary itself was built in 1925 and cost $267,000 at the time. Church officials told us that Billy Graham preached at the church back in 1946 and President Harry Truman visited back in 1948. The community celebrated its centennial with worship, music, and a 1920s Model T car show. It's a devastating stat. 40,000 babies are born with a congenital heart defect each year. That Children's Heart Foundation is hosting 33 walks across the country to support families affected by heart defects and fund research. One of them happened earlier today at the Morgan's Wonderland Sports Complex. That 1-mile walk serves to support both families and survivors, with all the money raised going towards innovative treatments and surgical advances. And taking a look at live cam, things are quiet right now, but it was a busy Friday, Saturday. Now we have cooler temperatures on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of weather for everyone. If you loved the thunderstorms, if you loved seeing much needed rain, you got that this last weekend. And even today, you got the heat. We got to 87 degrees in San Antonio. Tomorrow, could be a little closer to what the conditions we saw today. You're going to be waking up, though, still feeling that mugginess, that humidity, but that's because we're going to be waking up with some morning fog. 66 degrees as you're waking up, getting the kids ready to school or going out and about to get ready for work. Peak temperature sitting in the 80s, still seeing those mostly sunny skies as that fog really starts to lift up. But we're watching a cold front coming through on Tuesday into Wednesday, bringing some cooler temperatures. I'll talk about that, plus recap the tornado that was confirmed coming up in just a bit.
Up next, we give you details on community events that you will want to know about this upcoming week. And Mary Rominger will break down all the games you might have missed this weekend, plus her play of the week. Tomorrow, Texas Parks and Wildlife will hold a public meeting at Kerr Wildlife Management to discuss the July 4th floods' impact on local fisheries. They'll share management plans for the Guadalupe River and community fishing lakes and seek public input. Topics include fisheries recovery, conservation practices, permit info for landowners, and controlling invasive species. This meeting aims to support fisheries and help the community recover. Looking ahead, San Antonio ISD is moving forward with the next phase of its right-sizing efforts. This following the closure of more than a dozen campuses. The district will hold reimagined community meetings at the campuses that are set to get new tenants soon. Meetings will be held tomorrow at Brewer Academy, Tuesday at Gonzales Elementary, and Thursday at Pickett Academy. They all begin at 5 p.m. There will be a presentation, a tour, and a Q&A. And here in a few minutes, we're going to break down live cam. Shelby, what are you going to talk to us about?
I'll be talking about the cooler temperatures, and in case you missed it, we do have a confirmed tornado. I'll recap what that means for us in San Antonio coming up in just a bit.
Welcome back. Your time, 10:45 this evening. Thanks for staying up with us. Friday night, we had some crazy weather. And we knew we had crazy weather. We didn't know to what extent. Tonight, we have a ruling from the National Weather Service that it was a tornado with 110-mile-per-hour winds in the hill country.
Yes, so anytime you see a reported tornado or a tornado warning, most of the time it's out and about and people can't really tell, especially if it's at night. So the National Weather Service goes out to survey the damage. They see really coming down to even the way the grass looks to see the wind blowing. And the National Weather Service sent a survey team out today, and they found out between Kendall and Comal County there was an EF1 tornado with about 110-mile-per-hour winds. The width of this was about 300 yards, and the path was 20 miles long. Now, doesn't mean everyone saw the effects of this tornado, but we did see reports of downed trees, power poles, roof shingles, and even Farm Market Road about 306 was closed, especially if you were going from 281 to get onto 306. It was closed because of some downed power lines. So here's where we were seeing it. So the tornado started at about 11:35 just to the southwest of Candelia and just to the northeast of Oberle Crossing. And it moved all the way to the east and even crossing Highway 281 just to the north of Spring Branch, and then it crossed over and went just to the north of Canyon Lake, but it went just to the southwest of Canyon Lake High School. And that's important because it was Friday night and a lot of the football teams did move up their football games, but it was still going through portions of town, and it finally ended at about 11:58, but there's a whole lot of residential areas. So we have seen multiple areas where there were downed trees. Now for us, we've seen also a lot of rainfall accumulation, and all the rain that we saw Friday night into Saturday actually helped our aquifer. We're up over a foot from just yesterday to today. And even then, from Saturday to yesterday, or from Friday even to yesterday, we were still up over a foot in just 24 hours. Now for us, the rain chances we had this weekend were really the only rain chances we are going to see going forward. There is a 10% chance of some rain on Tuesday, but that's really it. That's the only chance of rain we have, and it's all because of a weak cool front moving through for some. But for us, it's going to be a true cold front. Now, we say cold front because a cold front, normally that's when you see temperatures like what we're seeing this week, about 10 to 15 degrees colder than what we've been seeing, and a little closer to our average temperature. You're waking up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the 50s and the 40s for most of us. In the afternoon, we're only expected to get to the 70s, and that cold front is expected to move through at about Tuesday afternoon and even into the evening hours and overnight by Wednesday morning. So it still will be windy Tuesday night into Wednesday. You'll be feeling the cooler temperatures and the colder temperatures this week, especially by the time Friday comes for Halloween. Some kiddos might actually have to put on a light jacket because it'll be in the 60s for some kiddos.
Finally
is here.
Looking forward to it. And if you have that hot Halloween costume that you're sweating in, hopefully the cooler temperatures help out a little bit.
Hopefully, you should be good.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for that, Shelby. Football in Texas is king, but we've had some rough weekends for the state entirely. This weekend, things fared pretty well. Texas won, Texas A&M won, U of H won, TCU won. Cowboys, heartbreak. Texans won.
Yes. Yeah, teams in Texas settling into their seasons. Yeah, the Cowboys, I mean, defense leads to championships, in my opinion. So until they get that defense together, yeah, they're going to struggle. But the Texans, they downed the 49ers in NRG Stadium, how it all went down. And we're breaking down the latest AP College Football Top 25 poll. 4 Texas teams featured in this week's poll after the break. Today in H-Town, C.J. Stroud and the Texans hosting the 49ers. In the second quarter, the Texans led 6-0 when Stroud fakes the handoff and drops back, going deep to Jalen Knoll for a gain of 44 for Knoll. Later in the drive, Stroud fires up the seam for, guess who, Jaden Higgins. He's wide open for the touchdown. Thank you, former Iowa State receivers, for that touchdown drive. All right, under a minute to go in the half. Mac Jones fires over the middle to George Kittle, one of the founders of National Tight Ends Day, getting a touchdown. Perfectly cued on that one. Houston leading 16-7 at the half. Third quarter now, Stroud facing pressure, but throws a strike to Xavier Hutchinson in stride. And Hutchinson takes it all the way for the touchdown. Texans with a nice 23-7 advantage when Sanford answers. Another tight end gets into the end zone for San Francisco. 49ers would go for 2, and they make it 23-15. Fourth quarter, Jones fires deep for Juwan Jennings, but Kamari Lassiter picks off the pass at the 1-yard line, and that seals the game for the Texans. They win it 26-15. Stroud threw a season-high 318 yards today. Finally, that offense is clicking, and that was without Nico Collins. Stroud distributed the ball to 19 different receivers.
You know, it's always good to get a little motivation. You know, we didn't have our best outing, you know, against Seattle. And I think, you know, that was just motivation to, you know, do the right thing. And I think that I always got to find motivation every week, regardless if we do good or bad.
Elko definitely said some things. Can't really remember every detail. He was aggressive, though, for sure. But we were really just kicking ourselves in the butt in the first half. Obviously, we're going to celebrate, you know, all the things that we have accomplished from, you know, historic things. Us not, you know, being 8-0 since I don't know when, but, you know, we're happy about it for sure. But, you know, there's definitely still a lot of things to be proven, and I feel like a lot of people in this country still don't respect us as a team. So no, we're not trying to prove anybody wrong. We're just going to go prove ourselves right, and, you know, week in and week out play our game of football, championship execution every week.
Well, here you go, Marcel Reed. The Texas A&M Aggies are 8-0 for the first time since 1992. A&M staying put at number 3 in the latest AP poll, with Ohio State and Indiana ahead of them. Texas Tech dominated Oklahoma State, handing the Cowboys their 7th loss, and the Red Raiders move up 1 spot to number 13. The Longhorns also slide up a spot after an overtime win over Mississippi State. By the way, Arch Manning remains in concussion protocol after hitting his head on the turf in OT. And Houston cracking the top 25 for the first time. JP's fist pumping since 2022 after upsetting Arizona State. All right, it's time now to hit the road for our Ancira Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Play of the Week.
Third and goal from the 3-yard line. And Marburger goes to the corner of the end zone, and this is caught. Sensational one-handed catch by Tony Diaz. And Diaz, who's having a career game tonight.
UTRGV hosting UIW for their homecoming game. Both of those things are a first, and the Vaqueros redshirt freshman wideout Tony Diaz hauled in a program record 17 receptions, including that one-handed snag for a touchdown from Eddie Lee Marburger. He also had a career-high 172 yards for that touchdown. Diaz, you get our Sear Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Play of the Week. Bravo.
The concentration as he cradled it for the one hand. What a grab.
One of many, many touchdowns the Vaqueros had
Absolutely.
against UIW.
Thanks for that, Mary. We'll be right back.